Ukraine is an Eastern European country that was part of the Soviet Union until 1991.
Виходячи з смертельної небезпеки, яка нависла була над країною у зв'язку з державним переворотом в СРСР 19 серпня 1991 року, продовжуючи тисячолітню традицію державотворення в Україні, виходячи з права нації на самовизначення, передбаченого Статутом ООН та іншими міжнародно-правовими документами, здійснюючи декларацію по державним за 346.
Ukraine sits between Russia and the European Union, and any expansion of NATO to include Ukraine would bring the alliance to Russia's doorstep.
NATO's 26 heads of state and government met in the Romanian capital of Bucharest for a three-day summit from the 2nd to the 4th of April 2008. The NATO leaders held separate talks with President Viktor Yushchenko of Ukraine, telling him that the alliance was in agreement that Ukraine will become a member of NATO.
Fast forward to 2013, when then-Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych rejected a trade deal with the EU and favored a bailout from Russia instead.
There's no change to our plans. We think we can sign once we get down to work and find solutions for economic problems. When we get the opportunity to sign a strategic partnership agreement with Russia and everything else that we need to do, so that normal relations can be established between the European Union, Russia and Ukraine. This is our responsibility.
Hundreds of thousands took the streets in Kiev after Yanukovych failed to sign a landmark pact with the European Union in favor of closer ties with Moscow. The movement has since widened into broader anti-government protests. European Commission President José Manuel Barroso warned Yanukovych that the EU would consider possible consequences in its bilateral relations if the violence does not stop.
If the situation is not stabilized in Ukraine, then the EU would assess possible consequences in its relationship with Ukraine.
By the end of February 2014, over 100 protesters are killed, the majority reportedly shot by government-loyal snipers. Yanukovych is ousted by an alliance of his opponents in parliament and granted asylum in Russia. And while protests in Kiev were winding down, in Crimea, pro-Russian protests began flaring up. Between February the 27th and 28th, anonymous pro-Russian militants seized public buildings in Crimea. Russia, however, insisted they were not its soldiers.
This is the first sizable pro-Ukraine protest that we've seen in Crimea yet, and we've already been here almost a week. I think it's incredibly brave of these people to come out here in the middle of the Crimean capital like this today, because the protests for the Russian side have been so aggressive.
Если не будет к нам вмешиваться Европа и Америка, войны у нас не будет.
Мы россиян встретим с хлебом с солью, понимаете? Какая может быть война? Они наши братья, мы их ждем. Ну не киевскую, поэтому войны не будет. Россия! Референдум!
The referendum held on the 16th of March 2014 in Crimea saw more than 90% of Crimeans come out and vote to be part of Russia.
Back home, Crimea is in Russia. Hooray, comrades! We did it together, thanks to you, to your courage, your support. Thanks to Russia's support, the Russian people's support, and the support of its president.
And that is how the Russians annexed Crimea in 2014. Yak Tobias for CII Radio News. Up next, we continue the history from April 2014